Jimmy.
You're hot. In North Philly, one man gets cool and clean at the same time.
People do whatever they can to cope with the record heat. We have live team coverage.
Hello, I'm Larry Menti.
And I'm Tracy Davidson, in for a Nation Alt.
Our top story on News 10 first at 4. Hot enough for you? The holiday heat wave is in full stride. It is a scorcher today across the Philadelphia region with excessive heat warnings just about everywhere. The Philadelphia record for today, 100 degrees, was set way back in 1919, 80 years ago today. So far today, we have tied that record. 100 degrees right now. The temperature is hovering and competing with that record. The heat was too much for some parade goers in South Jersey. News 10 in Berlin, where several people were overcome during the holiday festivities.
It's been mostly a lot of kids, young kids, so we had a couple of kids pass out. So it's all heat-related injuries.
One person was treated at a local hospital. Others were taken inside ambulances and cooled down with ice and water. But out on the river, nothing but cool. News 10 caught these scullers on the Schuylkill River making their way through the steamy breezes. And the Jersey beaches aren't even a sure thing in this heat. News 10 in Ocean City, where the cold surf offered some relief to the hot and bothered. Others took the withering weather in stride and refused to wilt.
So what everyone wants to know is, when will the heat wave break?
The man with the answer, John Bolaris, is live outside in the heat. John.
Yeah, I tell you what, we still have one more brutal day coming up on tap for Tuesday, but today, so brutal. No escape from the heat. From the mountains to the shore, everyone is sweltering. Let's check out the record temperatures as it stands as of 4 o'clock right now. Yes, we tied the record in Philly of 100 degrees today. So, and that was the old record. Well, the record that was set back in 1919, we tied that one. 98 degrees in, oh my, Pomona. 98 tied a record high today. Let's check out some of the current temperatures. Look at this. Shake and bake. 93 in the Poconos. Allentown, 96 degrees. 100, the century mark in Trenton. 100 in Wrightstown. 100 in Northeast Philly. Oh, we cooled down to 99 in the city. 98 in Wilmington. 96 in Millville. Dover, 95. Down the shore, are they getting relief with a cooling sea breeze? No. West wind. They're cooking along with green flies. It's not great down the shore. Temperatures in the mid-90s, and I'll be back in just a little bit. I'm going to let you know when we can get a break in the heat, when exactly that will arrive, and of course more details on our heat today and the heat coming up tomorrow. Larry and Tracy.
And you try to get away from the green flies and the heat, and the water's freezing.
It's bad. You're just sitting out there like rotting meat on the beach. It sounds bad. I know. Well, I know, but that's the way.
Paint a pretty picture, John.
Okay.
Thanks.
Let's check back.
All right.
Well, here are some important numbers if you have any questions about this record heat. In Philadelphia, you can call the health department's heat helpline at 215-765-9040. That's between now and midnight tonight only. That's 215-765-9040. Now, in New Jersey and Delaware, the help numbers are not in operation today because of the holiday, but starting tomorrow in New Jersey, you can call 1-877-222-3737 between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. The New Jersey number again, 1-877-222-3737. Now, in Delaware, starting tomorrow, the number to call toll-free is 1-800-464-4357. That's operational 24 hours a day. The number again is 1-800-464-4357. We have live team coverage of the heat wave baking the area. Luann Kahn is in the Lehigh Valley where the records are falling as well. Alicia Taylor reports from down the Jersey Shore. And Sheila Allen-Stevens on how people are finding ways to stay cool indoors. We begin in Allentown, where the Lehigh Valley is baking under the same heat as everywhere.
The 4th of July was hot across most of America, but July 5th, even hotter, dangerously hot. Hello and welcome to Weather Center. I'm Nick Walker.
And I'm Christina Abernathy. Thanks for joining us. This heat wave has a grip on the Midwest, Northeast, and Southeast right now, and it will be around for a while. Let's take a look. If you're brave enough to be outside today in New York, take it easy and drink plenty of water. The temperature has hit 101 degrees at Central Park. That much heat is dangerous, so your best bet may be to stay close to the air conditioner. And New York City has its heat emergency contingency plan in place. The New York City Heat Hotline is open from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. at 1-800-4COOL-NY or 1-800-426-6569. Well, you can almost see the heat in Washington, D.C. You need to be very careful if you plan to run or get any kind of exercise outside. The temperature here hit 102 degrees. That's a record high. The heat index topped 110, and the heat index is what it actually feels like out there. So you are definitely dealing with some dangerous heat, and it's thanks in part to this area of high pressure here that's centered right over the eastern states. This is keeping you very warm indeed. We've got some downsloping winds here and offshore flow. So the downsloping compressing and warming the air, and no onshore flow to help cool things down off the water. So we are seeing some very hot temperatures in the Northeast, the Southeast, the Midwest, It's in the northwest where we find some of those cooler temperatures. You're in the 60s and 70s right now, 70 in Seattle, 74 in Portland, but almost everywhere else you are seeing some almost unbearable heat out there. 100 now in D.C., 99 in New York City, and it's at 97 degrees right now in Boston. Closer look at those temperatures in the northeast, and again, not uncommon to see 99 and 100 degree heat. In Central Park today, you got above 100, and that's the first time that's happened in 4 years. So quite a heat wave here, and record-breaking heat for a lot of areas in the northeast. Newark, New Jersey, 103, a record high for you. Washington, D.C., 102. Atlantic City, you got up to 98 degrees at the airport, and that was hot enough to break your old record. Well, we're also seeing a lot of hot weather across the southeast, but you're used to hot weather at this time of year. Hot and humid conditions in Atlanta at 89, 91 in Birmingham, Nashville, Jackson, and Little Rock. And it's a scorcher in Chicago and Des Moines at 93 degrees there, 92 in St. Louis. And as I mentioned, the only area where we're seeing really cool temperatures is in the northwest, where you're in the 70s in Seattle and Portland and in Spokane. But to the east, we have some very warm air in place, and we also have some very humid conditions. Our dew points here are well into the 70s. The dew points in the 60s don't feel so great, but with dew points in the 70s, it is just very uncomfortable and almost unbearable, and you're really not used to seeing dew points this high in the northeast. So you combine the effects of the heat, the humidity, you get the heat index. That's what it actually feels like out there. 111 is what it feels like outside now in Washington, 110 in New York City, and 106 in Boston. So some dangerously high heat indices. And watch out, because once again tomorrow we're going to have extreme caution to danger up and down the East Coast and along the Gulf Coast. So a great time to stay inside in the air conditioning. If you have to be outside, drink a lot of water, take a lot of breaks, avoid strenuous activities, and wear the sunscreen. Again, it's a very dangerous situation. You want to take it easy out there. Well, that's it for the hot weather. What about the rainy, stormy weather? Nick?
Well, Christina, we do have some storms, and some of them severe around parts of the country this afternoon. We're looking at some right along this front, along this stationary front too, and around the southern periphery of this ridge of high pressure down toward the southeast and even back out in the desert southwest, particularly in the mountainous regions. You see some of these storms firing up right around what we call the ring of fire here around this ridge of high pressure, and the fire are the thunderstorms. A severe thunderstorm watch in effect for parts of Minnesota and Wisconsin, and a new one just added just a few minutes ago, parts of New York, and also including New Hampshire and Vermont. We'll take you first of all to this area where right along this front you're seeing some cooler air, kind of a little relief from the heat, and I think Minneapolis, St. Paul, you'll eventually see some relief too, but not without a price. That price is in the form of some thunderstorms, and we have seen some in some of the same areas that cropped up yesterday with the storms, from Duluth back down toward Interstate 35 and possibly more down toward the southwestern corner of the state. But we still have some flooding right around the arrowhead of Minnesota and down into Wisconsin too. Some flood warnings in effect for those areas. Also right along this front we could see more, and that's where we have the severe thunderstorm watch for this area right here. As this front sags southward just a little bit, we could see some storms, and also coming around the periphery of the ridge, some of that storminess could be here a little bit later on in the day. Here's the ridge down south, and we have plenty of moisture around the underside of it. And in South Carolina and in North Carolina, we're seeing a few storms. This storm right here in South Carolina has a severe thunderstorm warning associated with it. That's northeast Anderson County, and the storms earlier in North Carolina, in Clay County and Cherokee County, did some wind damage from the thunderstorm winds as they whipped through. Down around Florida, we've seen a little bit of heavy rain in southern Florida, much of this passing off now into the Gulf of Mexico, and some of it moving eastward into the New Orleans area, Lake Charles, and up to Shreveport. We're seeing a bit of rainfall too, and just right around the area there. Up toward Houston, most of it up toward the north now. Waco, just to the east of you, you're seeing some rain up around Interstate 45, and another batch coming into South Texas, and West Texas could see some too. Here's a little closer view of what we're seeing from actually Beaumont up the river and right around Houston, Galveston, and on up into central Texas around Waco over to Palestine. High pressure now finally and firmly in control of the Pacific Northwest, so things are looking much better there. But down to the south, we're seeing some thunderstorms crop up, and southern New Mexico, parts of Arizona seeing these storms now, and could continue to see more of that as we get through the afternoon and the evening hours. A little closer view shows you some of the areas of the more strong storms, most of them north of Tucson and east of the Phoenix area. More expected through this area and up in the northeast and down around the southern and western side of this ridge of high pressure. And watch out for this area in the Carolinas too, as some moisture comes in up against the mountains. Now let's check your forecast with Christina.
And we'll take you through the rest of the evening. We're going to see this area of high pressure, of course, still in control. Still be watching for some rain and some thunderstorms. That's going to be along the Gulf Coast and into Texas with that flow out of the Gulf of Mexico, and also an upper low keeping you a little on the soggy side. And of course, with our front and a couple of areas of low pressure here, we'll see some rain and some thunderstorms. As Nick just showed you here through Minnesota and also into parts of the northeast. And that wet weather not going anywhere in the southwest, still around, rain and scattered thunderstorms. Is it going to be around tomorrow morning? Well, a few areas could still see some wet weather, especially along the tail end of a front here, back through the Plain States and into Colorado. And all along that front, we'll see rain and maybe some thunderstorms. You'll want to watch out for that, and watch out along the Gulf, still seeing some wet weather for you. A front sagging southward here through New England, and that will be the focal point for rain and storms also. So it's really with our fronts that we're going to see some of the most active weather. Some of those storms could be a little rough. We'll be watching those for you. And then, of course, here through the southeast, things heat up during the day. We'll tend to see an increase in the number of showers and thunderstorms out there. So look out for that in Georgia and maybe Alabama, and also in Texas and the desert southwest. Well, this is where we think the heaviest amounts of rain are going to be through tonight, at least through midnight, and it's with those storms in the upper Midwest and also here along the Texas and Louisiana coast. Temperatures, well, they're looking a little cool overnight in the northwest, but mild, very muggy for folks in the eastern half of the country. Not the most comfortable night here. And boy, is it going to be another hot day tomorrow. Tuesday's highs in the 90s and 100s here, especially through the mid-Atlantic states and in parts of the northeast. It is going to be a scorcher. Nick?
Does your car protect you from a lightning strike? Is it safe to touch someone who's been hit by lightning? We'll find out the answers to these and other questions tonight when the Weather Channel begins a special series of reports on lightning with the Weather Channel's severe weather expert, Dr. Greg Forbes.
It's probably a myth about lightning because it's such a sudden and spectacular event. It's there and then all of a sudden it's gone.
Join us tonight at 9 o'clock Eastern for our special report, Sky on Fire, and find out if lightning really does strike twice.
Well, parts of the upper Midwest are seeing stormy skies while the heat continues for much of the nation.
Details on how this could affect your travels on TravelWise after your local forecast.
The world as seen from our award-winning 215 horsepower power plant. Intrigue. Right now, the 1999 Intrigue is available with $1,000 cash back or a great lease. See your dealer for details. Intrigue by Oldsmobile. Start to command performance. Start something.
Where are my clothes?
We asked today's hottest fashion designers to switch antiperspirants.
Invisible Solid? Show me.
Degree Invisible Solid is body heat activated with a clear difference.
It kicked in when it got hot. I'm dry, dry, dry.
Degree works hard but never shows.
Here's your local forecast on the Weather Channel.
A lot of you enjoying this day after the 4th of July, maybe headed back home to check back into work tomorrow. And on the way, you might encounter a few areas of rain and certainly some hot temperatures too. Let's look at some areas where you might find some wet roadways, particularly right up here in Wisconsin, also Minnesota, up to around the upper peninsula there of Michigan. Back into the plains and down in the southwest, you might encounter a few thunderstorms, particularly in the mountain regions. And right along here from Florida, back into Texas, and in the northeast, you may see some a little bit later on. No flash flood watches at this time, but we do have some warnings right up here in the upper portion of Minnesota down into Wisconsin due to some heavy rain that fell there yesterday and last night, and the potential for more as we get through the next few hours. This is also a big potential area of thunderstorms, and some of those could be severe. Also, this area from Maine down into upstate New York, you could see some severe weather as well. As far as winds are concerned, right along this front and on the back side of it, and also some thunderstorm gusts possible up around parts of New England, and the central and northern coastal regions of California could get a little bit windy too. But this is the trouble area that we're going to be watching throughout the afternoon and evening hours. The intersection right here of Interstate 35 with 94, also Interstate 90, right around here in parts of Iowa, Minnesota, and Wisconsin, and northern Michigan, we could continue to see the threat of some storms in that area, and some of those could be severe. We do have some cropping up right now around the Duluth area, and a line of storms, none of them too bad down here in parts of southern Minnesota, but we'll be watching that throughout the afternoon. We also have some areas of storminess in around the New Orleans area. Around Louisiana, we have a severe thunderstorm warning for northern Plaquemines Parish. Also, back into just south of the Shreveport area. Bit of spot storminess here and there. Around Houston, some storms up to the north of you around north and east of Waco. Also some spotty showers up around San Angelo and back down toward Del Rio, seeing some of those as well. So let's take it region by region, and here's what to expect through midnight tonight. Some storms could cause some wet roadways right along the New England area. Showers to the south and up to the north of you. No problems, though, I think, in New York City, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C. Just a lot of heat there. I hope your car air conditioner is in working order. Down to around the southeast. No big problems around Atlanta, but maybe to the north of you. You're going to see a bit of rainfall around the Carolinas and some storms out of that as well. Also down from southern Florida. I-10 looks a little bit wet once you get into Louisiana and back into parts of Texas too. Around the Houston area, it could get a little bit wet later on too. Here's what we're looking for in the Midwest, and some of these areas could be storm prone as we see some wet roadways. Not only that, but also some gusty winds and maybe even a little bit of hail throughout this area. So really be careful there in the upper Midwest. Down around the Southwest, you're going to see some spotty thunderstorms, and some of those could pack a punch as well. But it looks like in the Northwest, you're going to be fine. Finally, a little sunshine and out of that rain. Well, let's check a few international cities for you. And first, we want to go to South America, where we're going to find some sunshine in Bogota tomorrow. 68 degrees, the forecast high. Down in La Paz, only 46 and a few showers. A bit of fog in the morning for Santiago, 63 degrees. Looks like Buenos Aires is going to hit 55 and some showers there, and some afternoon showers in Rio. Up to around Mexico, look out for some showers around Monterrey, also Mazatlan, Mexico City, Puerto Vallarta, and even Acapulco could see some showers and some warm temperatures as well. Up around Canada, Vancouver looking good with partly sunny skies, 70 degrees for tomorrow. Winnipeg, ditto on the sunshine, and 75 degrees.
Everybody knows how to bottle the luscious taste of fresh fruit. But we do. Tropicana Pure Premium. Perfect.
Introducing the new Encore movie channel. Now you'll get recent, big, hit movies. And the new Encore is the only channel that promises you a great movie every night, guaranteed. Call 800-210-4000 for the new Encore movie channel. A great movie every night, guaranteed.
Call your local cable or satellite provider.
With the summer season comes an increase in bugs. Mosquitoes are at the mercy of weather. They depend on rainfall to produce areas for breeding, which mosquitoes can do in as little as 1 teaspoon of water. Wind and hot sun, on the other hand, make it difficult for mosquitoes to fly. Some roaches move indoors to find comfortable conditions. Like fleas and some other pests, they prefer high humidity and moderate temperatures. Of course, many insects find an ideal climate year-round in the comfort of home. Here's where mosquitoes are especially active now.
This program was sponsored by Off-Skin-tastic. Feels good on, keeps bugs off.
Great party, Susan.
Thanks, Brad. Mom, can I have some more to eat?
Sure, sweetheart.
Do torches and candles bring too much togetherness to your get-togethers? Spread out with Off Mosquito Coil. And Off you don't put on. Each coil repels bugs 10 times further than candles. Make your yard a virtually bug-free zone with Off Mosquito Coil. Keeps bugs off.
Raid and Off products are available at the following retailers.
Can I bite into your peppermint patty? My tongue tingles. My teeth chatter. My throat is cooled by the rapid chill of snow cascading around my body. Wow.
York Peppermint Patty. Get the sensation.
The world is not flat, but we can make it feel that way. Get 50% off a second shock or strut with R2 technology and our lifetime guarantee when you go Midas.
It's one of nature's most awesome and deadly phenomena, lightning. Learn its mysteries and dangers with our special series Sky on Fire, tonight beginning at 9 p.m. on the...
For the experienced gardener or the one just starting out, it's Lawrence Agway. Where else can you find topsoil, stone, mulch, gravel, drainage supplies, and more? Featured at Lawrence Agway are custom-made ponds, from starter ponds and jump-ups to your own full-size water garden full of all the delights outdoor living has to offer. Remember, Lawrence Agway is your local distributor of Unilock pavers and wall supplies, the exclusive dealer of gardener supply and pet products too. For that one-stop shopping place with prices that compare to the big stores, come to Lawrence Agway, Lawrenceville.
Hey, have you heard those so-called free offers for satellite TV? Oh. Sounds okay, till you hear the legal disclaimers. Wait a minute, let's slow that down.
You must commit to 1 year of program fees. Local channels are not included. Extra charge for additional TVs.
Guess it's really not so free after all. Maybe you'd better call Comcast. You can get everything you want a whole lot easier with Comcast's new digital cable. Comcast Digital Cable, available right now or coming real soon from Comcast.
The Weather Channel is brought to you by this cable or satellite provider. Right now, it's your local forecast on the Weather Channel.
Get the forecast for the next 7 days in your weekly planner.
Hundreds of companies have made a remarkable scientific discovery. Kelly Scientific Resources, the unit of Kelly services that provides experienced, qualified scientists at all levels, always pre-screened by scientific professionals. Kelly Services, 750,000 employees worldwide, just a phone call away. 1-888-GO-KELLY. Kelly Services. Look what we do now.
Well, it's time now for our weekly planner. Look at our jet stream first of all, and what we're going to see as we head through the next several days, a cool down in the northeast. So another day of hot weather, and hopefully things will be looking better for you as we're going to see a bit of a trough here in the northeast. You'll see some cooler temperatures, but the heat is on through the central states. A ridge building here. We're going to see a lot of warm air across the central states and the southern tier states, but the northeast will get a little bit of a break. It's still going to be warm, but not quite as hot as you've seen today, yesterday, and you'll see tomorrow. We're also going to see some wet weather out there. We're going to see that in the northeast for Tuesday. This front moving through is going to help sort of break the heat wave here. We'll see some wet weather and a little cooler air moving in behind this front as it moves on through Tuesday evening. To the south, we've got an upper low here and a flow of Gulf moisture on in, and that's going to mean some wet weather for Texas and also some moisture flowing in into the southwest so that you'll see some rain and some thunderstorms. Well, in the northeast, our front pushes on off the east coast for Wednesday, but another system is on its heels, and this one is going to be affecting the northern plain states for Wednesday. And with that big ridge of high pressure still in place here across the central states and on into parts of the eastern U.S., we'll see the system sort of moving over that ridge and then dipping back down into the northeast. And once again, as this system moves through, we'll see cooler air moving in once again. So a little bit of a warm up ahead of this system and then cooling back down. So this is what it looks like for Thursday. Quiet in the west, but here scattered showers and thunderstorms, maybe Minneapolis, St. Paul, and over toward Detroit. And then we really just can't seem to get rid of this wet weather here in Texas, so you'll expect some showers and thunderstorms too. By Friday, our system moves into the northeast, another round of rain for you, and watching through the central states and here into Texas for more wet weather. Well, that's it for the precipitation. What about those temperatures? Well, it's going to be quite hot out there on Tuesday. Another hot day across the northeast. Of course, today you've been in the upper 90s to low 100s from Boston to New York City, back to Philly and into Washington, D.C. We think tomorrow southern New England will be in the 90s. 100-degree heat for some of the mid-Atlantic states, and it is going to be another humid day, so hot, humid conditions, high heat indices. It's going to feel much warmer than the actual temperature. We'll see heat indices perhaps 110 again for some areas in the northeast, so dangerously hot weather. You definitely want to take it easy in the northeast. Now we'll see lots of 90s elsewhere. A lot of the country seeing temperatures into the 90s. Then what we're going to see is our ridge shifting back a bit, sort of retrograding back to the west, a front moving through the northeast, and this is what I was talking about, a little relief in sight for you. Now, highs still in the 80s in Boston and New York and on toward Baltimore, but that's a lot better than 100-degree heat, so it's still going to be warm, just not as warm. The focus of the really hot weather is going to be back here through the central states with 90s and 100s, sort of a bullseye here through the plains. And this is what it looks like on into Friday. It's still a lot of red on the map, a lot of heat. And notice also in the west, you've seen some of the coolest weather in the country recently, but the heat is on as that ridge builds over the western states. We'll see the temperatures rising up into the 80s and 90s for you. Now, low temperatures, cool in the northwest, but mild and very muggy in the east. Your lows are only dropping down into the 70s for most folks in the eastern half of the country, and with the very humid conditions, it's going to feel a bit uncomfortable. Now, Wednesday, not quite as warm overnight in the northeast, but boy, it's going to be warm overnight through the plain states through time, and we're expecting more of the same on into Friday. Coolest temperatures remain in the northwest. Well, that's it for your weekly planner. Stay tuned. We'll have Weather Center coming up next.
The heat is on in much of the country, especially in the Northeast. Find out how high the mercury climbed and if there's any relief in sight just ahead on Weather Center.
Check out America Online this summer.
Want to see a movie?
AOL Movie Phone.
What's new around town?
Where should I take my family?
Now America Online makes it easier than ever to plan your summer.
Let's check out the rides.
Get weather updates.
And it's easy to stay in touch with instant messages, buddy lists, email, the internet, and a whole lot more. And now with 56K, connections are faster and easier than ever. Make the most of your summer on AOL. So easy to use, no wonder it's #1. Sign up today.
With 10-10-220, you can call around the world at remarkably low rates. Call anywhere in the US and it's only 99 cents for all calls up to 20 minutes. Canada too. But I said the world, didn't I? Perhaps you have friends in Tokyo. With 10-10-220, you can call anywhere in Japan and it's only $1.99 for all calls up to 10 minutes and just 19 cents a minute after that. Call family in Mexico and it's only $2.99 for all calls up to 10 minutes and 29 cents a minute after that. 10-10-220. It's much bigger than you thought.
You see it every day, all across America. Ordinary people who can't or won't let go their ego. But at last, there is hope. Because now Eggo is putting more delicious waffles in every box. And they're free. 2 more in this box, 4 more in this one. They don't cost more, you just get more. So while old habits die hard, with more in the box, finally, it's okay to let go.
Let go.
Here's your local forecast on the Weather Channel.
It's just what the doctor ordered.
To order D-Snore, have your credit card ready and call the number on your screen. Find out how you can get 1 full month supply of D-Snore absolutely free. Call now.
Right now, it's your local forecast on the Weather Channel.